Welcome, it's Dan. I hope you're well today. Welcome to the podcast show. In this session, I want to talk about us as people and why do we set our goals and then start with this massive woo, only to see those goals kind of fade within 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. Like, what is that about? And I want to cover some of that. If you've got any questions, hit me up, put them in the box down below, and we'll cover those off for you. And also, we've got a 3-day masterclass coming up, which is something you should take a look at. It's an hour a day. It's over 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're going to cover in more depth some of this stuff. But also, we're also going to talk about how you can get the transformation that you're looking for, so that you become a person that not only sets new goals, but actually follows through and completes on those goals. Like, why is that? What is it about us? We know that we should lose the weight. We know we should start the business. We know we should live stream. We know we should be marketing more. We know we should be doing all of this stuff. And yet, for some reason, we're just not doing it. Or even worse, or is it worse? Because at least you got started. You start and then it just peters off and it just dissipates over a period of time. And then you just end up back into the always same old routines. And some of this is because the person that you are today is the same as the person you are a year ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago. It's usually the 9, 10, 11-year-old version of you that's showing up. Now, you can change that. But in order to change that, you have to change that at an unconscious level. So what happens is when you're 8, 9, 10, you have this metal bar that's inserted into your head, not literally, but figuratively. And it's called the critical faculty. This is the bit that separates the unconscious mind and the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. It separates the two. So the conscious mind is this bit at the top. This is the bit that makes us think that we are in charge of everything, was actually it's the stuff underneath, the stuff that blinks you, the stuff that breathes you, the stuff that's there to keep you safe, the stuff that does stuff without you even thinking about it. It's not your conscious mind. So if I were to ask you about how you feel about giraffes, for example, you could consciously think of a giraffe. You probably have a giraffe in a picture in your mind right now. How you feel about that giraffe is not something you consciously think of. Let's change it to spiders. You're either going to have a strong emotional connection to spiders because you dislike them so much, or you're not that fussed, right? And people who have a strong emotional connection is because when we were young at some point, the unconscious mind was taught to fear spiders, to hate spiders. The same for me. I hate spiders, right? And it's because I remember a very specific event which caused an significant emotional event all the way back in my history, which means now whenever I see a spider, I go through this significant emotional event again. And I don't do this consciously. This is not the conscious part of my brain. It's the unconscious part. It's the stuff below the surface. So the stuff that you see on top of the iceberg, that's the stuff that you think is having all the interactions and all the results. You think that's the bit. Actually, it's the stuff underneath the waterline that we know that the iceberg's like 95% underneath the waterline. And it's the same for your unconscious thoughts and the way that you see the world. And so we focus on changing this 5-10% at the top, doing all these conscious things. I'm going to stop smoking, for example. Not that I smoke, but this is things that people say. We're going to stop smoking. And then they are consciously trying to change their habits and efforts in order to stop smoking. And they end up not being able to do it because it's not the conscious part of you that needs the decision, that needs the change. It's the unconscious part of you. And we work so hard on the conscious part, and then we get so frustrated when it doesn't work, we fall back into old habits and so on. When actually, if you spent the time working on the unconscious part of you, the bit that blinks you, the bit that breathes you, the bit that keeps you safe, if you focused on that, then you start getting some results. So let's talk about that. The bit that keeps you safe. So if you go, okay, I know I need to live stream, let's say once a week. Okay. So why aren't you live streaming once a week? And what's happening is that you've actually got some fear that's coming through, and it's not coming through consciously. You might not even be aware of it. It's your unconscious mind that's trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you safe, and it's keeping you safe from doing a bad job, getting awful comments. Like, we get awful comments. We just blown up actually on YouTube, and in the last in the last like 28 days, we've had nearly 750,000 views. It took us 13 years to get to 1 million and 28 days to get to another 750,000. Ridiculous. And some of the comments that come on there are pretty not nice. Okay. And so what then happens is that because she's getting those comments, it makes you feel really bad. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad about these comments. I actually don't want to do this anymore. And that is the part of you that is changing the way that you turn up. And it's not even a conscious effort. It's this unconscious effort, this unconscious mind that's trying to protect you, that says to you, oh no, you've more important things to do that's probably going to make you feel better. Go and do those things. That's why we don't do the hardest things first. We do all the easy things first. And that's why, if you've read Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog, you go do the hardest thing first, because it's trying to teach you to change this unconscious part of you, to go and deal with the hardest part first, because usually that's the bit that we never want to do, because we know we're going to end up in fear for some reason. So this is very difficult to do unless you spend time away, time out, and you focus on some of the work on the unconscious mind. You are set to repeat last year, this year, and you are set to repeat last decade, this decade. You need to be a different person going into 2026 than you were going into 2025. The person that can get results that you're looking for is not the same person that you are today. Sadly, you need to step up to a higher standard, and the person with the same level of thinking that's got you into this shit has to be different than the level of thinking that gets you out of that shit. So this is where all this stuff that bubbles up from our unconscious mind. So if you think about this, the level of the problem that you're operating at, the solution has to be a higher version of that. So for example, if you've got a level 4 problem, you have to become a level 5 person, which is brilliant, because it means that you then get to sort and solve all these problems. The problem is, once you become a level 5 person, now you're going to have a level 6 problem. Guess what happens? You've got to become a level 7 person. Then you're going to have a level 10 problem. Now you've got to become a level 15 person. Then you're going to have a level 20. Like, these problems don't go away. They just get bigger. And the stuff that you thought was a problem 10 years ago turned out never to be a problem, is because you've grown so much. If you look back where you are over the last 10 years, you will see just how much you've grown. But you've grown because of the lessons that you've learned. Now, wouldn't it be cool if you could learn those lessons very, very quickly and accelerate those results and that response? And that's why we've got the 3-day masterclass. It's an hour every day. You should come along. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're going to do these for the next few weeks. You should come along to these, and we're going to work on some of this unconscious stuff that will help you just get rid of the old you to transform into the new you. Now, is it painful sometimes becoming the new person? It is. And I used this example last week. If you're a lobster, and I don't think there's any lobsters watching, but if you're a lobster, when you get to shed your shell, because lobsters keep growing, by the way, I don't know if you know that, they never stop growing. They always get bigger. And in order to get rid of the old shell, because they've outgrown it, they have to go under a rock and they have to scrape it off, and it's quite a painful process. That is exactly the same as you going through life. You think about all the stuff that you've had to overcome and how painful that was, and now as you look back at those things, which might have been a level 4 problem, but now you're a level 20 person, you're like, oh my gosh, they are so small and insignificant all the way back then. Now think about the problems that you're about to have in the next 5 or 10 or 15 years, where you've got level 100 problems and level 200 problems. It means that you have to grow to be a level 250 person to have solved that. And in 10 years after that, when you look back, those level 200 problems will seem so small and irrelevant. Is it a painful process? Look, you and I both know just how goddamn painful that can be. I know I've definitely gone through it. I'm sure you've gone through it. And the good news, if you've not gone through any of that, you've got all that to come. You've got all these lessons to learn. But this is where we are. You have to go through this like rite of passage. You have to go through this pain in order to get to the other side. And you have all these new learnings and all these new lessons and this new way of seeing the world and new realizations of how the world actually works and how you fit into the world and where your place is in the world. And as you look at that and you go, oh, now that makes sense. It doesn't look sense as you stood looking up at the mountain, looking up at the obstacle. It only makes sense once you've gone through the obstacle and come out the other side looking down from the top of a mountain at what you've just gone through, only at that point does it make sense. And that's why we want to accelerate these results and get you through these as fast as possible. Because what happens is that motivation will only last for so long. And I'm motivated every day. I'm motivated, and I need motivation stuff to keep me going. Like I do, right? I need motivational stuff to keep me going. That's not enough. Sometimes you can turn that into discipline. Sometimes you can turn that into habit. But actually, what fundamentally shifts to keep that motivation going is there's a switch inside your head, not a literal switch. It's a figurative speech, but there's a switch inside your head. And when you learn the lesson, it gets flipped, and you go, "Oh, now I understand. Now I get it." But you don't get to get it until you've gone through the lesson. Which is crap, right? Like, can't we just know this stuff now? Is there not just a list you can give us, Dan? There isn't, sadly, but there are tools that we can help you go through those much, much quicker, which means that when you come out the other end, you go, "Oh, I get it now," and you'll instantly be motivated, and you'll instantly just go and do the stuff that at one point in the past was very difficult for you to do. And it's because you've changed this unconscious mind from not worrying about this is going to put you in pain, is because you can then see the benefits of having gone through this transformation. Anyway, come and join us. It's on Monday. You can click the link down below. Go take a look. I've got a mega busy day today, creating content for it, in fact. So if you want to come and join it, that'd be great. Love to speak to you on Monday on Zoom. Other than that, I hope you have a great day, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care.